Hello, thanks for stopping by the channel. For this video, I'm looking at American Hero for the Nintendo Switch, published by Ziggurat Studios and Limited Run Games in 2022. Doing a little research on the game, GOG.com seems to have this game rated at a 3 out of 5 stars. I assure you, it is no more than a 1 out of 5 stars. At best, this game would be in someone's collection as nothing more than a piece of 90s gaming history. That's if you're into 90s FMV games that never were actually finished and released. So that's where we start. We have a game that was never finished. As it is now, this is hobbled together footage with some video tricks and maybe some rewrites, which is described in its sales advertisement as a, quote, restoration built from the ground up. Well, I don't think you can restore something that was never finished in the first place. You can only attempt to finish it. Being completely honest here, it feels like there was more quality in the packaging and the description used to sell this game as opposed to the game itself. There is no reason this should exist anywhere to start with, but at the most, this is a $2 game on Steam, because it's something that is maybe slightly historical to some, if you want to experience it, but honestly, there is nothing here. Originally, this was going to be a Jaguar game, or quote, a playable movie according to the advertisement. That's what they're calling it anyway. Who knows what the actual intent of this game was, but it certainly wasn't finished. It seems that they recorded some footage for an FMV game in the 90s, but they probably didn't record enough. Also, they had various story branches, but some of them I guess were never finished, so great, this is where we are. On the screen, by default, you're going to be staring at a television that's on a table, some VHS tapes next to it. It's as though you're watching footage on a VCR, so you don't get a full screen of the image. That is the default. You can zoom in if you adjust the setting, but they try to keep it small on this little television, I think, because the resolution limits of the source material. It certainly looks better when it's smaller, and it definitely looks better in handheld mode with the Switch compared to putting it on a television. Definitely. This experience, if you call it an experience, it's just video footage that's spliced together in a way that attempts to make a story. It loops and it replays certain parts because alternate footage doesn't exist. They apparently even got the original actor to come back to do some additional voiceover work, but it doesn't really help anything, and I'm not sure why they went through the effort. This is clearly a cash grab that's just hoping to make a return on their investment before the word gets out that this isn't good at all. So somewhere, someone sat down with a pile of unused footage from the 90s, and they worked to figure out how to make it all fit together into something that they could sell. There wasn't enough source material to get any sort of a coherent story together. It's like they took a bad action script from the 90s, and they removed a bunch of needed scenes, and then they used what was left over. The narrative does not fit together smoothly, and you do have to make some logic leaps here. I played this game for 20 minutes, and then I seemed to be at the ending scene of the whole thing. Just like that, I was there. When I was collecting this footage for this video, I beat it in like 24 minutes, if you can call it beating. You just barely do anything. The advertisement for this said that this had a ton of footage. I do not feel that. You're supposed to be some cool 90s action hero, but the script they're using barely seems to be a script at all, and it is remarkably cliché. I was in college in the 90s. I know what the action hero genre was back then. Knowing all that and all the movies that I liked back then, this one is rough. The description for this game when I bought it, they tried really hard to sell this, and they described it as having, quote, intense action and, quote, gut-busting humor. Absolutely not. These are descriptions used to sell and try to justify the existence of this on a cartridge. There is no humor in this, unless you are laughing at the story. And for the action, some of the guns, they don't even fire. It's just the actors clearly shaking them. And it's like, they're not doing it in a funny way. It's just, they forgot to insert some special effects in like 1 or 2 quick clips. That doesn't make the game funny all of a sudden. It makes it sad. I didn't realize how bad this was going to be exactly. I read the advertisement and I thought this will be interesting. Interesting in the wrong way, I guess. I didn't understand what it was going to be like exactly until I loaded the cart. First thing that basically comes up, there are multiple pages of text offering excuses for the game in its current state. I've never seen that on a cartridge before. It's like they were giving you an apology for an unfinished game. I'm fine with FMV games. I do think they are an acquired taste, but I don't feel like I can even compare this to other FMV games of that era, like Corpse Killer, Double Switch, Night Trap. They all at least have things for you to do on screen while footage is happening. Maybe you're timing button presses. Usually that's what it is. But at least there's an attempt to make you feel like you're controlling it in a game. Here, you're just waiting for footage to give you a choice. Maybe it's go left. Maybe it's go right. Whatever it is, it's really simple stuff. It's really not a game. At best, you could consider this a choose-your-own-adventure that feels remarkably incomplete. Now, so far I've described the framework of this game, and I've not given any specifics to the plot. So here's my description of the plot. You are a retired hero named Jack. What a manly, tough guy name. Embarrassing. He starts out at a strip club. Someone tries to kill you. You leave the strip club and step into a limo where your old boss is waiting. He recruits you back to secret agent status because there's a villain with... He's got some mutagen virus, apparently, which you never actually see enacted. So, I don't even know if it's real. Now go stop the villain. That's kind of it. We're talking less than 30 minutes, it's over. I also think that with that description I just gave, I think I've made it sound better than it really is. I don't want to oversell this. In some places, there are actually really long stints of video before you get to make a choice. So if you make the wrong one, you have to rewatch a bunch of terrible footage just to get back to that spot. Not fun at all. I found myself suffering through this footage just to move on a little bit at the end. What a bore. This game was never finished and released back in the day. For a reason. It's not good. That's all I have for American Hero today, and now honestly I'm a little depressed that I had to dedicate time to this review. I committed myself and I finished it, and it leaves a bad taste in my throat. I paid $35 for this, I believe, plus shipping from Limited Run Games. Not a good one. So now I have to clear the palate, so let's go back to something I know is decent, like Laser Blast. Once again, Activision can save the day. Don't act like they don't make good games. I'll link to some other FMV games that I've reviewed in the description to this video. Thanks for stopping by to take a look and suffering through this one with me a little. Hope to catch you on another video.